Sorry about that. You guys can hear me now? That's going to text me yes, yes, okay. Sorry about that. All right, so start back at the beginning here. Apologize. All right, share my screen. There we go. Apologize about that. Didn't even realize I muted myself. So as I was mentioning here, the dashboard. So this is where you as an event director will start on the dashboard, and we're going to focus here on the left-hand side on the scheduling tab. We're going to focus on the two first ones today, which is the competitions and the events. So when we come to your scheduling and then competitions, you'll see in our demo account, we have a few here that we've created. You know, it could be a Memorial Day folder or Labor Day folder or a league folder or something as generic as tournaments, right? So this competition is for you, an event director, to create folders for year after year or type of event or type of competition that you would like to do. So up here, you would click the new competition and label the name, whatever you would like to do. If we were going to do tournaments, the type, right, we're focusing on league or tournament today. So if we were to do a tournament to match the tournaments, sport is soccer, grouping will stay the same here in terms of the gender, age, and level. And then the report to association or governing body, this would be as if you had a US club or USYS or USSSA event that you need to report to, you would put under the governing organization. It would also follow any type of roster rules. If you are doing rosters through your event, it would follow the governing body's roster rules as well. So if left blank, then it is not going to follow anything and it does not need to be reported. So with just these 4 boxes, you would be able to create a competition. So obviously would hit save. I'm going to focus on this tournaments one. So once you've created your competition, you're now going to create events within the competition. As you see here, I've got a 2020 Memorial Day, 21, 22, a couple tests, including a 4th of July event. But you would come over to the top right again, click the new event, and you would be able to name the event whatever you would need to. So if it's going to be a demo, if we were going to make this a demo, we could do so. Everything you do here is editable, and you're going to notice that these first 8 boxes are going to appear on your event setup as soon as I hit save and we create the event itself. So don't worry about messing something up and saying, oh, I got to delete this or start over, etc. We'd be able to start right here, name the competition that you created, start and end date. So these could be very generic. For a league, it could cover the entire fall season, or it could cover the entire on August 1st to July 31st. They will need to be within the date range of your event. So for a tournament, if you were to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you would want to click those 3 dates. And again, our calendar pops up automatically. I had a couple saved here, but I'd be able to click, you know, next month, 21st and the 22nd, if I was running an event for just Saturday and Sunday. Seasonal year, as of about a week and a half, will be in the 21-22 season. That will start August. Calendar year versus a school year. So we do have recreational programs that follow a school year. Calendar year would be the 05 birthday year, 06s, etc. Your affiliation, if you are USYS, US Club, USSSA, you could put an affiliation in there. Again, not required. And then your website URL, so your tournament page that you would like teams to be directed to if they have any questions, you would want to put into the box, and this will appear on your public pages, the registration pages, etc. So once you click these 4, you would hit save. And for our purposes, I'm going to go right into my test account here. And you'll notice you've created the event, and these first 8 boxes, 4 on each column, were filled out and are still there and editable. So I've created just a 2-day tournament here. Everything I'm going through today is relative to leagues and tournaments, but this just for the start and end dates, this is what we've created. So names, the competitions, you know, start, end date, seasonal year, age group, method, affiliation, your website URL. The code will auto-generate, nothing you need to do there. That is your event code for internal use. As I kind of scroll through down here, I'm going to go through this page. This page will probably take the most time just because there's a lot of boxes and it scrolls down, but this is part of the event setup. And I've put in here in red, as you see, as I move through here, what this actually means of examples. But before I dive right into that, merchant profile. So your merchant with us, you'd be able to select them. If you have multiple ones for various reasons, you would be able to select that merchant profile and the accounting code. So the accounting code could be a Texas showcase, right? 17s and 19-year-olds. This accounting code helps with your billing. So if you have multiple events or multiple programs, if it's a club running program registrations through us, this accounting code could help differentiate between your events, your programs, etc. So this could be as simple as a tournament fall or whatever you would like to put in here will appear on your billing tab for you to filter and sort by. Logo, what you put here will be on the top left corner of all of your public pages. And I keep mentioning public pages. It leads me right into this next box. The description. So this is a description about your event. So in this box, it will appear on all those public pages. Your registration link, so teams click to register. Your applied teams list if you decide to post that, or your accepted teams list. Your divisions and brackets when you get to that point, your flights, etc. And then of course the schedule pages. So this text box will appear on pretty much every one of your public pages. As I scroll down, this welcome message for anyone that is used to and has been in our GotSoccer platform, this is new. This is a one-time pop-up that once a team or coach manager clicks on your link to register, this pops up and they will acknowledge it or exit out before they actually start their application. So I have seen here individual events do sponsorships, right? Like by playing in this event, you get 10% off of XYZ event. I've seen instructions. Are you new to GotSport? And because this is an HTML box, you could hyperlink, hey, here's the best practice for starting your account or registering through GotSport. But again, this is a one-time, so they wouldn't be able to come back to it. Payment terms and refund policy. When they are finishing the application, they will agree to whatever is in this box. So by checking this box, your team is, fully acknowledges that you will not receive a refund if withdrawn within 7 days of the event or something along those lines. If COVID becomes an issue and you are not allowed to travel, teams will get a full refund, due to COVID policies. Whatever it might be, this is what they would check off. If left blank, that would just have a yes, I agree. So it is an automatic fill that is a yes, I agree, if left blank. Notification emails. Anytime a team applies for this event, an email, anyone with this email listed, will get a notification that says the U12 Arsenal team has applied for your event, and it will appear in your inbox. Up here, it is separated by a comma and no.
Hi, everybody. Dom's just lost connection again. He's going to be jumping back on shortly. And we'll be going through the setup of having the event.
All right, sorry about that. All right, let me start right back here with the notification emails, which is where I thought I left off. The notification email, so anyone listed in here, separated by a comma, no space, will get a notification when a team applies for your event here. As I scroll down here, both of these are very similar, confirmation email text as well as accepted email text. This will be for confirmations being on a team completes the registration. Whatever you put in this box will be there. So I've seen a lot of next steps. Now that you've officially applied, please contact XYZ housing company. Please start to get your checking documents together, whatever it might be, as well as the accepted email. So once your team has been accepted, or you have accepted their team, that team will receive what is in this text box. If left blank, both will be as just a default with a congrats, your team has been accepted to, and it will list your event and the team information. As I scroll here, entry details, whatever is in this box will appear on only your registration page. So when a team clicks the link to register and they're going through the application, this will be at the top of the page. It's actually right below the description, so it doesn't override. If we come back up to the top here, it doesn't override the description. It is just another form of a text box that will appear only on the registration page. The scheduling details, same idea as the entry, except on the scheduling page. So it won't override type the description. It will just show what's on the schedule page as details. So weather delays, field movements, anything along those lines can be posted here, and it'll be at the top of just the schedule page. And the last one, event alert, I mentioned about the weather delay here. That would be, this is everything over, it goes on every single page. So a team would not be able to go through anything if they're clicking through the public pages and not see what is set to this event alert. Preferred divisions, most commonly asked question through our application process. So we've created it here as a possible required. So if it is checked off, they must select gold, silver, or bronze, again, separated by a comma and no spaces, or you could just leave it as an optional choice for them. So they could pick one of these, and that will be on their second page of the actual application. And if required, they would not be able to move on without selecting it. Venue address and location. So this is a general location of where your event's going to be. In GotSport, at a minimum, I would put at least the state as your host state clubs. When they search for an event and they look for it, it filters by their home state first. So if not listed, they'd be able to still search for your event, but their list is categorized by the state that the event is in first and that their club is in. So general location, my recommendation is to at least have the state in there for your event. And lastly, here on this page would be the payment address, who to make checks out to and where to send it if you are collecting checks. And this is an option. Again, if left blank, nothing will appear and they won't get any notifications about paying by check. So this was that first page I mentioned, probably take the longest. I'm scrolling back up to the top. And we're going to kind of continue to work to the right. So we've just done the event info, and we're only going to do these first 5 before we actually open the registrations. And then we'll look at the team registration and then the divisions. So as I move over the application, these are your custom questions. So I've created a few custom questions just so you could see what they would look like. You would click a new form element on the top right here, and you'd be able to type in whatever question you might, need to know. Which league, and you'll see the live preview on the right-hand side, did you play in last year, right? And you could leave that as a open text box, or we have a couple types of them, a drop down. So if you had a list of yours, you could do like an APL and inter-county. I'm just naming a few that I'm aware of, EVPs. And again, there would be the options for them here, so you can see exactly what they are going to see. You have the radio buttons. If you like that format a little bit better, you could do that. We have a check box and check boxes. I'm going to come back to the one real quick. Check box, would they be able to play, if they played in two, they can multi-select. So no more just one if it applies to multiple, or if your question applies to multiple answers. The check box would be an acknowledgement. So it would be right here. I understand that all teams coming over 90 miles away must book through XYZ. So that is a check box, an acknowledgement. And then HTML. So you could put in there any kind of hyperlinks. If it was I have read and agreed to the tournament rules, and you could put a tournament rules as a hyperlink. It could redirect them from there to a separate page, so it doesn't disrupt their application to read that. A file field is an upload. So I think I've created at the bottom here. Yep, I created a please upload official roster. If I were to click edit, you'll see exactly what I had done here. I created a file field, and they would be able to upload an official roster during the application if need be. Now that leads me right into these bottom three, which required. So if I had this as a required element, they would not be able to move on without an uploaded document. Editable, which is what I put here, is they can go back in their application and edit this question or upload a file in this case at any time until you as an event director uncheck that box. So if I were to make this one editable and required, which it is, that means they have to answer if they could play Friday night, and editable, meaning if they talk to the coach a week later and the coach has another obligation, they can come back and change it from a yes to a no. And then once I uncheck the box, they would not be able to change the answers, and you'd be able to export them and see all their answers. So that was the application page. You can also rearrange these. So, if you are used to and have been in our GotSoccer platform, it was all about rows and you separated them. Now you can, make this whatever order you would like. You can even add pages to this. So if I did not want this official roster to be on page 2, on page 1, I could make it page 2 and hit save. And now this would be on page 2. So they would answer these first 3 questions and then go to next, and then this one would come up, and then they would continue their application. All right. Then back to the top, moving from left to right, got fees and payments. So I've created a few fees and payments here for everyone to see. I'm going to start with, again, new registration on the top right is what would pop up this box. So in this box, you could put in the name and the description of your fee that they would be selecting. Genders are required. So if it's just male or just females or both. The age group range for your event. I will come right back to these two. Your initial fee, so your fee of your league or your tournament. Total available, if left blank, then there is no limit, but there may be a limit on your 77 fields as an example, because this is the one I put, that you might only be able to host 24 teams based on availability. So you would be able to set a limit to how many teams select this registration fee before they either get waitlisted or deactivate, meaning they would not be able to complete the application. So there is the ability to do that. If left blank again, as many 77 teams could apply for this event and select this fee. This would be for credit cards, and I'll dive right into that one when I go to the payment plan option that we have. But credit cards and checks are accepted, and we have a new option here that if a team applies and selects credit card, that their card could be charged right away. They would not have to wait to be accepted and then process their payment. You as an event director can choose to have their payment be run the moment they hit submit or agree to those payment terms that we spoke about on the first event setup page. And active is keeping the fee active or not for this event. So if unchecked, this would not be an option for teams. Right. I mentioned about this team and club organization. If if I were to create a fee for just one club that is applying, we still offer voucher codes, we still offer all of that, but you could create a fee for maybe just an Alliance Cincinnati, and only Alliance Cincinnati teams would see this fee during their application as a choice to choose from. So if they were getting a discount or they were getting any kind of special rate, you could make that for just that one club, and they would see this fee as well as the 77 general fee for all other clubs. So we do have that option there. And so I've created just a few here. I kind of categorized them by the size of the playing field, as well as this last one, which you can see I've set up a payment plan. So as I click this one here, nothing has changed from what we just reviewed. I made it available for everybody. I put an initial fee as $100, so that is what they would owe upon registration. And I put down here a new fee. So to schedule a new one, I would be able to click. I would put in the amount that they would owe, say it's another $500, and the due date. And let's just say I like this actual date. I'd leave it as is. And now this team would be charged $100 when they apply, $450 on the 15th, and the remaining $500 on the 11th. What this late registration setting means is, they give you options, is what would happen if a team applies after 5/15 of 22? What would you like them to do about both payments? Would both of them be due, the 100 initial and the 450? Well, you could do that, and that would be this preserved date. So to truly keep the dates, and they would be charged the 550. You could preserve spacing and put it back, so this would be pushed back, and they would be able to allow a payment down the road, but before the 11th. Or there's no late registrations, meaning once the 15th comes around, they would not be able to register for this event at all. So a couple of things there, but a new feature for you if you would like to set up any sort of payment plans for teams or collect deposits right away and have the payment come in for the rest at a set date. And of course, this would only apply for credit cards. All right. As I continue through, the appearance tab is set for you as an event director to kind of design your public pages in terms of the colors, the logos, the backgrounds, etc. So the first thing I would do in the appearance is I would upload your logo. So you have the option of this eyedropper. Once the logo is uploaded, an eyedropper will match the colors within a logo. So you'll notice that this is a red back here. If I were to click and I really like this shade of blue on the ball, I would apply, and now you'll see on the right-hand side, like, oh, that's a good color. Or maybe it's not, because the top of my pages have text, and that's kind of light to see. So maybe I'll need to either change the font color as an example, or change the background color. So this is what it looks like on the public page. This part is a coding term as well as a text. It's just what it would look like if you were to type in a text box, or if there was an empty text for you to fill out in an application. So again, this is just the preview part. So yep, a couple settings in here, right? You can include time zones. If you're a league that crosses across time zones, that would show you the time zone of the event that you're in, or the field that you're playing at. Date formats, if you like slashes or dashes, fonts, if it's bold, italic, normals, etc. So you can spend a little time here to design what your page looks like, and you'll see a live preview here on the right-hand side. Last tab before I dive into what the registrations will look like is the Features tab. Features tab, I've created one here so everyone could see it, is you could set a late fee for your event. So this would automatically, as you kind of read across here, on the 15th, apply a $70 fee to any team that is trying to apply to this event. So when they go to check out, it was $500, but it is May 22nd, they would have $575 due, and they would see it broken down for the late fee. You could also apply these just to certain plans. So if it was just a payment plan, or you were selling out of your 11v11s or 7v7s, you could assign it to just one plan, or this could be across the board for all of them. So I created a late fee, and now the opposite of that would be creating a new feature, would be maybe an early bird special. So if I were to do a early registration, I could do so, apply it to both genders, all age groups, and then this would be a end date. So an end date of the 15th if you wanted to do so, or maybe we do a couple days before that there for the demo. So up until May 1st of 22, sorry, I'm already behind myself. May 1st of 22, then any team applying would have a minus $25 discount for their application fee. And again, nothing you need to do in terms of turning it on and off or worrying about going, at midnight, changing this over or anything along those lines. You would just set an end date and the amount that is discounted, and as long as it's required and active, they would automatically get this code or get this discount. You can set maximums, and this would be a maximum per user. So this would be typically set at 1, but how many you want to offer. If you only wanted to offer the first 25 teams, you could do so by leaving it at 25, or you leave it blank and truly stick to the date and go from there. Also, you'll notice here the voucher code. So as I had a minus 21, if I remove the dates and I call this the voucher code, you could create your own voucher. So if we are still having issues with COVID, and from last year, you wanted to give a credit, you could call this the virus 22, and that would be the voucher code you would give out, and they would have in their application the ability to enter this voucher code and receive $25 off or whatever it might be. So features are voucher codes, early birds, late fees, etc. for your event, all set up here in the features. So I mentioned we went through the first 5 tabs. Before we jump over to the team registrations to see what it looks like when a team applies, we're going to open the application. So create these first 5 tabs, go through them, make sure they're set the way that you would like your event to be run. We're going to come back to the event info, and on the right-hand side, application open. When I click it and hit save, you'll notice right now that there is not a application link open, but once I hit save, you'll now have your URL to post. So this is the click here to register, click here to apply for the event. We give a few options up here during the application. So for any team that is clicking the link and registering, this first one would say, hey, during your application, you're required to put a coach or manager on the application for this event, like a primary contact. Include team roster. And this is asking a coach or manager who's applying to create your roster right then and there. Not highly used because you want teams to apply and then they can come back to creating their roster, but an option for you. Require a user to select a club. This would be as if they are a brand new team to GotSport, that they could link their team to a club. Require background checks. I don't think anybody on this call or anyone that would have pre-registered would have to worry about this checkbox for their application. Allow clubs to directly enroll. This one is being used. This allows a club admin to come in, search for your event. And again, I mentioned that by state, or they can just type in the name, so demo test event, and they would be able to just check the teams that are applying for your event, and answer the preferred division question only if that is required from you, and hit apply. And they would be able to bulk enroll their teams from their club to your event. What happens from there is they would not have answered any of your custom questions, and you as an event director would need to go back and invoice those teams. Now you can invoice the teams individually, where the coach and manager gets an invoice that says, hey, this is due, log into your account, pay it, or you can invoice them back to your back to the club, and the club gets an invoice for them to pay to your event. So directly enroll is a nice feature where it's check, and they get dumped into your team registrations, but a little more work on your end in terms of collecting payments and sending invoices out, and they do not have the ability to answer the questions right away during the application because it's just a bulk enrollment. Allow club registration form. This would be, again, a club admin could click on your link right here instead of searching for your URL or searching for your page. They'd be able to search for your event in this club account, click on the link, and start. So it's like a shortcut from this club side. and nobody on this call will have anything with the last one. So that would be opening the application and the URL with a couple other options during your application of what's required and not required to collect information from. So now that we've set up the event, we have open registration and teams are starting to apply. We're going to go to our team registrations. So you're receiving those notification emails that your email was listed on, and you'll see here that we have all of our filters up top. If you need to sort by a club, or if they have completed or incompleted their application, I'll get to in a sec. Age groups, gender, states, yeah, there's a lot of filters for you to go through. And as you come down here, you'll start to see in chronological order the teams that have applied. So team name, the club, obviously your event that you're in, the date that it was created, the event age group, and the gender. And then if they had preferred divisions, anything listed here would be there. I'm going to focus a little bit here on the right-hand side because I mentioned it up above. 2 green check marks means that they have fully submitted and completed your application. So one feature that we offer here in GotSport is if a team clicks your link and starts your application and then gets busy, gets distracted, and moves on and forgets to complete it, you will see all red X's, but their information will still be here. So it captures any team that clicks and logs in to your application and starts it. So the complete means that they have completed your application in terms of answering your questions, getting the any of those check boxes we talked about with coaches info, roster info, selecting a club, etc. Then the submitted means they have selected their fee and agreed to your payment terms. So it's just 2-step here. It kind of gives you a halfway mark, like, hey, they've answered your questions, but if this was a red X, they have stopped at the payment for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have their credit card on them, or they needed to contact the club to get the credit card info as an example. You'd be able to email them by checking the team off, right? See a couple actions come up, send a message, and you could send it to the coaches, managers, etc., and say, hey, we've noticed you have not yet completed your application. To do so, please click on the link and you'll have a continue button. So again, they don't have to start over, this coach or manager, for this Premier 08 team. If they were not submitted, it would take them right to their payment page for them to select and enter their credit card. All of their custom question answers would already be there for them. So we would be looking for 2 completed and submitted 2 green check marks for them to officially have received your confirmation email and submitted the application. Active is the same as accepted, which we can do in bulk. So if I were to click 1, 2, and 3 and hit edit registrations, you'll see up here accepted/active. I would be able to hit true and accept all 3 of these teams, and they would all have green check marks. Just like in that bulk action, you'll see a waitlisted, declined, withdrawn. Those are internal notes for you guys. Again, in here, if you had a team withdrawal, but you did not want to lose their information for any future events or their applications, you could just withdraw them. And that would be noted here on the right-hand side for any filters, again, up top. If you need to filter who was accepted, who wasn't, here's that active accepted. You could do so here. So that would be what the team's registrations look like. So as they continue to come in, you continue to get notifications. You can accept them as needed to come into their account and see their information. If you needed to change their event age group, somebody is playing up or requested to play up, you could do so here. You can accept teams individually, right? They gave the same option down here as accepted, waitlisted, declined, etc. Hit save. But this would be their information. That registration pad is their questions. So again, if you had anything editable, you'd be able to see what questions you had editable. But this is the same thing that they see on their side as well as a coach or manager. So they'd hit the edit button and be able to update any of their answers.
I'm making these now.
Looks like somebody is not muted. Sorry about that. All right, thank you. So once they create their roster, their event roster will appear here, as well as their coaches and managers, team history, that would show any GotSport event as well as a link to their GotSoccer history. And again, that is on the team to put in their ID number, and it will link their GotSoccer points, rankings, history to their account here in GotSport. So I've got a list of teams. Applications are coming through. We have started to accept teams, gone through these first 5, everything's going smoothly, and you want to kind of get a head start. And we're going to end on this last tab, but we're going to start to create divisions so you could start to put some of these teams in those divisions and see what your numbers will look like if it's a group of 6, if it's a group of 8, or for a league, if you're going to have 10 teams or 12 teams or whatever's going to fit your event the best. So I've clicked on scheduling here at the top, and it pre-fills to my divisions. And right now I've not yet created any divisions. So I'm going to come over to the right and click new division. And it will give me the option to start typing in the name of my division. So I think I have a U14 is where most of my teams are. So I'm going to go U14 boys gold, male, age group will be U14. Tiers is like a priority from GotSoccer. This is required for you to put in at least a 1. And this is kind of like your top tier or your top flight, your middle flight, your bottom flight, or your gold, silver, bronze. This is kind of like, hey, your top team should be in 1, and then you work your way down as examples, or however you'd like to format it, but they would all separately need a tier. And the max teams is just a general. So if I were to put in 4 for now, I'm going to hit add. And what you'll notice is I've added a division. So I could, if I wanted to go to just that one division, hit my all divisions tab and go to U14s and start to put teams in their spots. Or everything pre-filled here. So if I wanted to go back and do U14 boys and go silver, I could do so and just change my tier to 2. Hit add, and it will continue to build my tiers. Again, if I want to do a 3rd, I could do bronze. I could change the age groups, keep the male, go to U15s. So this is a quick way of going through and building your flights without going into too much of the actual detail of the flight, like match length and what fields, priorities, etc., which we will go into at a later call. So now that I've created 2 divisions and I want to start to put these teams in, I'm going to filter to that U14 male division. And as I get there, sorry. I'm spinning here. There we go. Now you will see the ability to add teams to your division, change your divisions. So if it's bracket A and this is a larger league and you would like 10 teams, you go to your total teams and hit 10. And once you hit enter, you'll see the expansion from A1 down to A10. All right, and I still have my silver division down here as a group of 4. Same thing. I could change the number. I could change the bracket A to an East and a West, or whatever you would like to do. I'm going to put this back to a 4 here. And then I'm going to also add a new bracket. So if I wanted to create a second bracket within this division, I could do so. And if you remember when I created the division, I only said 4 teams, but now that I'm adding another bracket, it's going to have 8. Sorry about that. That is my screen size. Let me reformat that. And now you'll have a bracket A and bracket B of 4. And we'll be able to add teams 2 ways. As soon as, there we go. So add teams 2 ways. One would be clicking the add team button. And now a list of all of your 14 males would appear here. Their preferred division would appear. So this could be helpful if you're looking for teams that requested top flights or middle flights, etc. And then anyone that is accepted. So if this Team Smokies was not accepted, then they would not have a green check mark, and you might know, like, hey, we're still waiting on payment. They haven't committed. I don't want to put them in a bracket yet. But if I were to click on the Rocky Top, you'll see that Rocky Top here is now in the A1 position of the gold flight. The other way I mentioned, there's 2 ways, is we have this little pop out, and now you can drag and drop a team. So if I were to take Tennessee and drag them over, you'll see that Tennessee has, and it's updated my list. I could use this Milan test team and move them over there as well. So 2 different ways of doing your brackets, creating them, getting them the right numbers, if you're going to have a group of 8, or if it's leagues, it's just one group of 12, and you can start to add teams and build your flights this way. So with that being said, that is where I'm going to end the call. I know I had a couple of interruptions here. I went 45 minutes. Matt, is there anything on the chat that I needed to review or talk over or talk about again?
No, one question just laid on was just when is the cutoff for transitioning over to the from GotSoccer to GotSport? You obviously, we would recommend any new event going through to GotSport just because of the all the leagues, associations, and everybody moving across anyway, so it'll be easier.
Yep.
And somebody's just asked, can we clone an event to create a new event?
Yes, you can. Yep. So if we went into so yes, I went through this all starting from scratch, because many of you are starting from scratch in the GotSport platform. So when I come to the events here, if I were to want to clone this, 3 little dots on the right, and you could clone it. So now we could just clone or copy, right? That is the other term. So yes, good question. Forgot to bring that up. But we do have the option of cloning each one of these events for year to year or season to season if it's fall to spring. So thank you for that, Matt.
Hey, Dominic.
Yeah.
This is Greg. First of all, the event alert function, that will go out to anyone who clicks on that page. Am I correct? I mean, in other words, if down here in Florida, it could with the weather, a weather system can come through and just wipe out an entire day or half a day of games and whatnot. We can use that as an early warning system for people not to show up.
This event alert, I'm sorry if you can still see my screen here. This one?
Yes.
Yep. So this event alert does not send out messages. It is just on the public pages.
So that would be
so teams would still have to go to their schedule.
They would still have to go to the schedule. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Also, how do I get a report out of here on payments?
On the payments, so there's 2 ways. Billing tabs, you'd be able to go through it. I don't want to dive too into it, but billing tab and accounts. You'd be able to sort through that accounting code and export, or
export. That's awesome.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a download button here. You can kind of see everything here, right? Event fees, whatever it might be. And the other would be you can export all of the team information from that team registration page
to an XLS.
Real quick here. Yep, exactly right. So I showed you all these teams here. This top right corner, drop down, export, and then it would pull all of their information, including their billing, as well as all those custom questions that you might ask.
Okay.
So, yes.
One more. Okay. GotSoccer. Is that going to be like is that going to be GotSport's data warehouse? And how long will that data be housed and be able to be accessed?
So you as an event director will be able to access your GotSoccer account for as long as you would like. I think certain items, our servers hold them for 2 years from the event. So an example, if you had uploaded documents, then they would hold them for 2 years, but you'll always be able to access GotSoccer. That's not going to just disappear.
Yeah, whether it's a tournament or whether it's a league, it's basically everything's built the same way. So I'm just wanting to make sure that there's legacy information there that can be used, for could be disciplinary reasons, could be anything. Okay.
Yeah. You're still able to log into GotSoccer and export any of that data, or go back and you could still use the messaging tab if you wanted to reach out to teams from last year. If you ran an event there to say, hey, register this year, we're in GotSport, here's the link, that kind of thing.
Okay. So there's no real interface between GotSport and GotSoccer. You have to get out.
Correct. Yes, you have to go into one versus the other. Right. The only thing that they are talking to right now are the rankings and the history from a scheduling point of view.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. Now, was
Dom-
there anything else in the chat that we want?
Yeah, we
go ahead,
just
Matt,
got
sorry.
obviously like it's the kind of the if they've already got an event in Got Soccer created with applications, would you just hold off creating the one in Got Sport, or how would you go about that?
It depends how far into it they are. If it's only a few and you feel comfortable going back to those teams and registering in GOTS or telling them to register in GotSport, I would say go that route. But if there's already too many to ask to do again, then I would continue running it in GOT Soccer for this year. And if it's a yearly event, do the next year's event in GotSport.
This is Kathy Judge. I'm the one asking all the questions because we've got an event that's, we set it up in the spring and we've been we've been registering teams. We haven't accepted any teams yet since June.
Okay.
I've also, on our administrative side, been assisting our club director with downloading player and coach information from GOT Soccer and uploading it to GotSport. Can you do the same type of thing with an event so that you don't have to recreate the event, that you basically are downloading it and then uploading it again?
When you say event, like the setup of the event?
Yeah, like you would with the player and coach data.
Like the coach upload and the player upload?
Yeah, can you do the same type of thing with events?
Not with events, no. So each event would need to be created, what we just went through. It would need to be created for the first time, and then you'd be able to copy or clone it year after year or event to event.
Okay.
Yep. Now, clubs can bring their teams over, right? That's a totally different conversation, but clubs can import their teams from GOT Soccer. So if the club has 78 teams and they don't want to create 78 individual teams in their GotSport account, they can move them over. But that would be something that clubs would want to reach out to us about having to do that. And how to do
We've
that.
already done that. I was just
great.
asking if that process was, it was an easy process to do. And I just wondered if we could do it on our events as well. Now do I have to create, how do I create my my GotSport profile? I don't have one of my own, and I have a team that do our events.
So if you needed access to GotSport, I would send us an email, and if not, I'm going to stop sharing because I can type them in there. If you would like to send us an email, we'll get your GotSport account set up, and you would just have to let us know which organizations we should be starting you in. And then any other club admin or event organizer can create and add you to that as well. So 2 ways of doing it. You can email us at clubs@gotsport.com, which I just put in the chat here. That will get you to, there's about 15 of us that check that email regularly, and we'll get an answer back to you about creating your profile. Or you could reach out to the organization that already has a GotSport profile, and maybe they're already setting up the event or they're within a club, and any one of them can create your profile for you and add you to that event or organization.
On that second one, are you referring to like our club administrator and her account that she could set me up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A club administrator. Yep. If you shot them an email, him or her, they would be able to type in new user and just type in first name, last name, and your email address. And then they would just give you a temp password, or one could be sent to you as a temp password, and then you'd be able to get logged in. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, thank you guys all for joining today. I'm going to stop the recording here. We're going to get this recording posted and sent out to everyone that's attended here by you guys all pre-registering. You're on our email list. So give us 24 hours, 48 hours here, and we'll get it to you before the end of the week for you to review. We'll also get all of this posted on the support pages, this video as well as last week's video, which is very similar for any of you that attended both. You'll notice it was almost the exact same thing. Next week, we will be doing the scheduling part. So if you wanted to jot down, we will get these links again out to everyone. Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time will be a tournament scheduling. And Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time will be the league scheduling. So we will create those Zoom links, we'll get them posted, and we'll get that out to you for anyone that would like to continue this session. We're going to leave off, just like I showed you how we created divisions and added teams. The next steps will be creating the templates, making sure the days are right that you would like games to be generated on, the correct playoff formats, etc. So we'll go through all that next week as a part one for scheduling tournaments as well as scheduling leagues. So thank you again, and we will talk to everyone soon.